Well, it's now Friday. Of course, this thing's still sitting here, never moved. It only got up to about plus 12 today, so I never really tensioned anything on it, but wrinkles are slowly starting to come out of it. Somehow that fell out of it. I don't know how that happened, but it was interesting. Oh, I can tell you right now how it happened. That somehow, oh, that is weird. Somehow this ended up right to the end of it. Or maybe not. It looks fine. Who knows? But again, continuing on the winter cleanup. Gonna probably weld on the handle on that plow for today. I see a proxy. So, I'm gonna weld on the handle so I can lift and lower this, I guess. I was gonna go a winch, but play around with that for a while. Got a little bit of time before it's too dark. See what I got for materials. I hit a stump. Don't think I'll get any stumps out with this thing. Make some smoke happen. Woo! A little bit too much there. Got a little bit more daylight left. Oh, my butt's wet. Why is my ass wet? Damn seat. That has to be changed. Well, literally today and tomorrow is the last day before hunting starts. I want to get this project done, so temporary I'm going to put some new rivets through those holes. Surprisingly, it never wrecked the holes at all. They're not even ovaled out too bad. So I'm going to stick some new rivets on there. I had muffler cement in there. If I can find where I left it, I'll use some more of that. I'm tempted to give this a quick scrub a rub and spray paint it. Now, I bought a solid one piece, so I don't need this coupler. But at the same time, this is all temporary. Next year, make sure it's not too hot. This whole muffler is coming off, and I'll rebuild it. I'll probably even proper hood on it. But for this year, I might run it without a hood. Yes, I know the linkage, everything can freeze up. And as for room for the battery, I might actually make a box that sits over here somewhere in front of the engine. Not too sure. Again, it's all temporary. We're running out of time. Snow's going to hit real soon. And of course, diesel engine, you need like a semi-truck battery. That's as clean as I'm de-rustalizing it. A little quick scrubby. Some high heat paint. Oh, look at that, up to resist 1500 Fahrenheit. Well, that'd probably work better if the metal was clean. A little bit of muffler cement, and just going to rivet it on. And then what I'm going to be doing is probably running, maybe from this bracket here, a bar I'm going to weld on. I kind of don't want to wreck the tractor, but at the same time, this one here already has been hacked up really bad right here. You guys can see that. So I might just weld a bracket right to that center frame, right up to the muffler. So basically a bar, that's almost in line with the muffler right there. So the bar will go right up, be good enough, hopefully for this year. Again, very temporary. Need to get this going. Oh, look at that awesome paint job. Like you can, oh, well, no, you can still see the stickers and everything. Yeah. It's gonna work for now. That wasn't me, trust me. Oh, I think they're on to me. They have been flying around for about half an hour now. You guys do not want to look at what I did. Here, look from far, that's all you guys get. Well, I'm not even going to really cut that. That bar is just going to be my support. Oh god, that's going to look horrible. But again, temporary. Well, for a scrap piece I found, it's just going to go like this and up to there. Yeah. Again, that's already been chopped up. I just notched it a bit, cleaned it up really very shitty. And yeah, just clean it up a bit more, and that's pretty much where it's going to go. And I'm just going to go right up to the pipe there. Out of focus. Yeah, I know, hey? Might last, what, half a year? Well, it's now Saturday morning, and I got the exhaust welded up. I actually thought I made a video showing after it was done, but it's probably a better thing I didn't because it got dark trying to see through the welding helmet. Yeah, I just wanted to get it done. I also did some more on the driveway. I still need a bolt for that. When I broke everything, it was actually sloppy and loose. When I tightened it up, that one broke. The other ones got tight. Oh, wow. I can see right in this tire. Look at this. Again, I don't care about the side tires on this thing, but you don't want to know the welds. You don't want to see the welds. Again, all that's being ground off next year. This whole muffler is being removed. But project for today is to put that handle on. That I am going to do a little bit of a better job on because I won't have to redo it. So I'm going to borrow the handle off this guy. And so I got to cut the weld around there. That's adjustable stop, I guess, for how high it can go. And I got to actually cut the shaft. You know, maybe I can actually take this out without cut. No, I can't. So if I want to do that, I'd have to cut this weld here. Well, I guess I'll start by unbolting that assembly. See what I can do with that. This is the lift off the old white snowblower. Now I got a whole another snowblower like this one in the city that's actually perfectly functioning. I think I had a bushing right there that needed to be changed. I don't know if I did that or not. Hard to say. But this snowblower looks to be a bit bigger, and oh my god, look at the shape of this thing. It's just all like, oh, that's just an idler. Why is there a second top idler for that chain? I really don't know. Well, I don't really even understand sprockets on the side of the belt guard. Well, still, I might play around with this one later on. So that's the same bracket, I think, as the one for this model here. I don't know. I just kind of, for some reason, I want to get this one going because it's bigger. And it's going to go on this tractor here. But we found out this tractor does not like starting anymore in cold weather or when it rains. So the exhaust filled up and it seized up. So I don't think any water was coming out there. Maybe a little bit. But probably put a different motor on this one. That's either 13 or a 15 horse. Probably just needs a carburetor, but it is burning a bit of oil. Makes sense. So the starter's bad on it too, by the way. That's kind of why I don't want to use that engine. But it would be nice to get a snowblower. Now, I could take the loader off this guy, put my good snowblower on it, but don't really want to do that. I would need chains for this guy if I'm using this one, which That is the plan. But I am right out of diesel fuel. So I got a lot of runtime out of that one tank. So there's enough in it to start. It's a little chilly this morning. That is for sure. Well, I don't know when, but sometime when I was pulling it here, my camera shut off. I must have hit the off button, but... Oh, wow. Don't look at those welds. I'll just hide those. But... gotta get to work on this guy. Well, I'll get back to you guys once I get that arm ready to go on. Well, the exhaust never cracked. That's a good sign. Yeah, I filled it up a little bit too much with diesel fuel. Kind of dumped some out. Ooh, did I just see a drip there? Wait a minute. Is it leaking? No. I see it filling up on the bottom there, but that's just from it dripping out around this cap. I overfilled it, so right where I got a weld, hey? But just had it around the yard a couple dozen times, just played on around on the driveway, getting some sand out to the front, gravel I should say. But yeah, fast speed, shit kicking, lots of bumps, never cracked it. It's probably fine. The original idea was to weld another bracket on this side of it, or somewhere probably from here to there, but it looks like it doesn't need it. Wow, those are horrible looking welds, but I'm going through a 75-foot extension cord too, so that doesn't help. Can't go very strong without blowing the breaker. Well, from what I see here, should be fine. Of course, I don't need that because I don't really need a stop. You just drag on the ground, you know what I mean? But let's give it a quick bath and brake clean, get some of that diesel off there from welding right there. So that side has a pin. That side could be removed. But again, the shaft is too short. That's a quick release style system on this guy here, by the way. Designed that you can pop the plow off in a second. You can see the pins right there. But yeah, I'm thinking just welding on that handle should be best. Sure beats using a ratchet strap, hey? Yeah, I think that'll be just enough that it doesn't hit the exhaust. Yeah, so you can see where they cut it. They just cut around the welds, pulled it off. Should be pretty much the same way I'm taking this one off. And they had a winch on it. I know that because there was a winch relay, everything on this tractor before I got it. But yeah, it should be easy enough to grind off, I think. Is that a bigger shaft? Yeah, this one's a lot bigger of a shaft by looking at it. Or is there a sleeve on there? Well, it shouldn't matter. I should be able to make it work. Well, pole's welded on. It actually fits good. You don't want to look at the ugly welds. Here's a hint. Breaker had to be reset at least 10 times, giving it time to cool off in between. But it's working, so I mean, it works. Lifts, lowers, locks into place. I do want to tack a few more spots. I'm trying to get it pretty decent. So that's a lot of strain that gets put on that shaft with this arm. So, and I'm glad it doesn't touch the exhaust. I was kind of worried about that. Well, it's on there. That weld doesn't look very good, but I re-welded that because it wasn't welded that far. That, yeah, looks like shit. Been ground. We'll see if it's strong enough. Because, again, you're driving around. All the force is on that pin right there. We'll see if it lasts. We'll find out. Okay, so I'm looking here. I just went around the block a few times with it. Back there. Ended up cutting this notch here. I'm going to have to cut it just a little bit more just so I could get some ground pressure when I hit something. But works good. Now, you guys remember that airplane I was driving by. Well, the guy just came and talked to me. He said he seen me welding from the airplane. So he came and talked to me this morning. He's an aircraft mechanic. And he just bought the corner lot right behind me. So that's kind of cool. So he came, said who he was, and he's doing that. So that's pretty sweet. But that's about how high I want it to be at the minimum when I'm not using it. So this quick release linkage here is all floppy and loose. You guys can see what I mean. You see that gap right behind here? So I think I'm just gonna have to fill that in with weld the pin, weld it up here, down in here, and might get some weld in there, not too sure, and weld it up solid. I think that's all I can really do. Otherwise, pre-sitting, it sits about that high off the ground. I want it high enough that I don't have to take off the plow. Okay, so that's pretty much where it's staying. A little bit of welding on top there, a little bit in here. The pins are welded. I say welded, but more like splattered. But yeah, it's pretty solid now. That's about how high it sits. Now, I am kind of off-centered the way I'm sitting with the tractor right now, but I also ground this a bit better. I gotta make that a little bit smoother or it'll wear through that pipe. But it's looking pretty decent. Next is maybe a hood. Yeah, maybe. Well, I'm done hunting for the year, quite literally. Well, myself anyway. I already got 2. Not going to maybe post any videos about that, but got 2 decent sized does. Well, project for today now is, as you guys seen, I put on that. Gave it a shitty weld job just to hold it on. I mean, when I mean shitty, I mean, hey, it holds the pin, everything's there. Everything's still floppy and loose here, but I'm thinking the nut just has to be tightened. But at the same time, sometimes following the ground like that might actually work out better. But I'm off to go buy a battery. The idea with this is to maybe put an alternator on it and make it into a mobile power plant ideas. I'm kind of thinking solar panel on the hood or on the back, engine, you know, inverter, whatever else. Just use it for lights. Oh, I could probably mount a light on the exhaust. Well, off to go buy a marine battery for her / RV battery, deep cycle. Okay, so what I'm about to do is going to make some Sears guys cry. So this dash, which is in pretty good shape, is being destroyed. Literally, I'm chopping it off. Because again, this tractor is being designed to work. And it's going to make people cry. I'm going to literally shatter this dash. Now, I could technically get away with maybe cutting it, but I want to keep the battery away from the exhaust, so I got to get it right under here. The whole dash is going. It's going to make people cry. But it's the same thing I did on my last diesel, and it actually worked out pretty good. Okay, so back out of the shed again. I've just put it in there, so I decided I'm actually going to try cutting the dash first. Cut it straight up. See how that looks? Same way the grass cutter is done almost, but I got a group 27 battery I want to fit in here. It's going to be fun. Okay, so yeah, makes people cry. I know. Dash is cut. There's all the scraps there. So I was looking at the original firewall piece there. It was pretty beat up. Same with this one that someone bent it, cut it, who knows what. Not using those. This is off an old roper, so this thing's now going to be serialized as a roper instead of a Sears, but you know, it's yellow. Maybe I'll paint it black after. So I picked up a group 27, and that wasn't a cheap battery, let's just say. Now you guys might be wondering the reason for deep cycle is I'm going to be turning this again into a light. I'm going to have a light bar off the back. It's going to be used as like a lighting station. I plan to put an alternator on it, and yeah, it's going to be like a generator, so I'll be able to run 12-volt lighting off it and not worry about killing the battery, you could say. So I don't look at those welds. That might be an issue right there with battery fitment, but I got some pretty good heat shielding that will most likely be fine. We'll have to wait and see, or I'll light on fire and burn. One of the two. I was thinking of putting it under the seat, welding the seat so it doesn't move, but I don't know. I do got enough battery cable to do that. That is still an option. Still an option, because I could take that bracket, weld it underneath. I can weld the seat so there's no suspension on it. But if anything, I want the seat back more and lower. Give some more leg room. Okay, so even after gutting everything, cutting it, I still too close to that pipe. I'm going to have to chop off the rest of this hood. Yeah, it sucks. Well, I have this from Commercial Shelving. You can see it's pretty damn thick. That's going to be made into my new battery plate. You guys can see, trim out a little bit more, get it a little bit farther from that exhaust. Now I'm thinking I'll just cut it a little bit so it sticks out about 1 inch on both sides. The reason to do that is I can put lights on there. Just got to check and make sure I got decent clearance for my legs, which I don't know if I will, but or if I ever put a cab on it, you know, it's kind of nice having that a bit wider. I don't know. I can see right now I'd have problems using that foot pedal, but again, kind of can't show you right now, but I'd be cutting off at least 6 inches still. Probably just be overhanging about 3 inches on each side. Again, not 100% sure just yet. Again, this is a Franken tractor, as in I could care less how it looks, as long as it functions. That's all I needed. Only reason why I'm going such a big battery is my old 10-horse diesel had I think this one's a 90 amp hour. It had a battery a little bit smaller. I think it was a group 34. I can't remember. 36. I don't know. I don't even know how those numbers work. But long story short is it almost died a few times trying to start one of these. Now this one I am going to be putting an intake heater on it. So it should be a lot better. Well, it's going to be uglier than shit, but it's going to fit. Yeah. Cut those brackets right down where it drops in. So that's the way it's going to sit. Now that I look at it, you know, I could have kind of left the dash there. I probably could have got the battery to fit. Besides, the top would have had to been cut. So not too big of a deal. It's going to have to work. Again, purposely rushing. I don't really care much. I never sharded much. So just giving this DeWalt battery charger a good shit kick. This battery, brand new battery, only half charged. So this is the one going on the diesel. So you guys can see some specs on it if you guys care there. It's group 27, should be perfect. It'll take overnight to charge. Slow charging. 14.8 volts. It was showing, no, now it's, well, it's showing 100% now, but it was showing 50% before it started. Weird. Well, we'll see. Well, here's a little bit of an update. Decided to go plant a bunch of little trees. You guys can't see them, but there's a whole pile of little ones there. This came from the ditch. Not that big one there, but a bunch of little ones, like 30 of them. And battery's hooked up. I don't have a key switch yet, but it works. Charging wire's hooked up. Battery's not bolted down yet, as you can see by it sliding back and forth, but I'm gonna just use straps on it. So what's left to do is drill 2 holes on each side of this plate here for some bungee cords. That's going to be what I'm going to use for this year. And yeah, so I just got the alternator wired hooked directly to the battery from charging system, double checked, goes up. And of course I got to redo the throttle linkage there. It's just dangling, but to be honest, I won't use it that much. Now the diesel, I had it on this side. I kind of like that, but I'm not too sure. Kind of got in the way with lifting and lowering it, but for now it works. Well, next step to do is find out how the dog just decided to escape out of his fence. And I guess, like I said, drill the battery, put on some tire chains, and maybe figure out a way to cover it. And like I said, it sucks about cutting the dash, but at the same time, this is a Franken tractor. I'm not too worried about it. And the Bowlins is outside. He looks like he's missing some tire chains. Yeah, I decided to throw some tire chains on the Sears. And of course, doing this with one hand is not going to work. Or maybe magically it did. So I got one chain on it here. Nice and tight. I don't think I have ever got a chain on that tight before. But that's just one anyway. I'm going to actually nuts and bolt it on when I'm done. These are good chains. Lots of cleats on it. And my motion alert's going crazy from that guy. I got to bring that in and charge it. But, oh, see, I was wondering where I left these guys. Yeah, those are like gold. Okay, so my custom seat. Yeah, hey, it works. Now I got to go tuck tape off some of the winter vents around the house. And then I'm going to go jump on the quad and go do about an hour of hunting. So, might as well do that. And then come back and finish working. Okay, so the Franken tractor. Chains are on it. They were a little bit of a bitch. May not be the straightest, but ended up bolting them on. Yeah, quite literally. They are tight. Use a tensioner to tension them up, and yeah, pretty sure they'll stay on there, but once I ride it around, I'll see if they go loose. But other than that, I think she's good. Middle of the night, dirty cold start inside here. What do you guys think? Oh, yeah, she dooches. Okay, shut it right off. A little foggy in here now. And there's the Franken tractor. Snowplow and a half. Yep, I destroyed the dash. I know. It sucks. Okay, so the Franken unit, this is now the next morning. Went to open the shelter logic and the zipper broke off. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Starting to snow too, so good thing I got some spare tarps if I need to make my own door. I can frame one in. Not too big of a deal, but is this guy going to start now? It got down to about 0. Not enough to really freeze anything, as you guys can see. Last night I did start it, but it was not too bad. I'm probably entering that video into this one. Okay, put her back in the gear. Throttle's about halfway. Yes, some people crank them, I don't. Now that's why I got a big battery, right there. These guys do not like cold weather. And I do got an intake heater, which I will be putting on her, just not yet. I got some work to go do with her. Let her warm up for a bit. Look at that chooch coming out of here. That's not even actually that bad. And it's starting to snow like crazy, but at the same time it's not that bad. Just getting everything cleaned up here for the winter. Got a fire going in there, and that's not going that bad. Cleaned out that zone. Got that stacked to the weeds. But got the pool put away finally. Got some heat happening here. That is nice. But just gotta get that stuff back inside the shed. Bowlins I might leave outside, not too sure yet. Just cleaning up this zone here slowly. So much garbage everywhere. And getting the shed ready to hang a deer. So that's not too bad right now, but still lots more work to do.